forecast, we will be showing you our updated final spring forecast for spring 2022. There has of course, been some updates based off the outlooks and what others suggest. So here's the other outlook, and this is more of just going over the. It doesn't go too much into base physics, basically. Unlike the first one. So I did kind of cut back on how far west the severe threat goes based on the dryness we're expecting over here in the plains. But we also do see a potential spring snowstorm, especially early in the season in the northern plains. Where we basically highlight that blue region. So if you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. If you are new, and enjoy our forecasts. So, let's get on to it because I won't be able to provide any updates on the winter storm. So, while we're at it, we can just do the spring forecast now. So I've been planning on it. So for the majority of the U.S., we're expecting a generally warmer spring. One exception could be the Northwest, especially Washington State. We have a cooler than average, especially early in the season. The whole country will be warmer later on. So, I mean, there could be some cold waves, middle of the season, that can't be ruled out. So, overall, we're expecting a hotter spring, down south, especially. But the far north you go, the less warmer compared to, like, the average, basically, for that region is. So, with the precipitation forecast, we're expecting a generally wetter spring for the northern half of the country and a drier spring with the south. So basically, a separation between the wet half of the country and the dry half of the country. So for the Northwest, it'll be drier later on, but for the Great Lakes and the Northeast, this will continue to be wet, but there will, of course, be some dry periods of time, especially out here in the western portion of this region, but who knows what will happen. But for the deep south and the southwest, we're expecting a predominantly dry spring with drought concerns. So yeah, not as much severe activity as you would usually see in a season like this because of the dry weather, of course. So most of the snow activity will be focused in the Midwest and the Northeast. Severe activity would most likely be higher than normal over here. This generally is a good idea. So from the Midwest, into the western central Gulf Coast, where I think the most severe would be, and you'll look at that map right now to see where exactly that would be. Especially in the dark red and purple regions, is where we're seeing these possible tornado outbreaks throughout the spring season. Again, we have the best potential for that. Again, in the dark and purple regions, we're expecting above average severe weather. And just taking a look at, we just took a look at the above normal precipitation. For the Great Lakes and Northeast, we're expecting a stormy spring overall. Severe weather is possible from time to time, of course. And as well as some flooding events, as well as over here, but yeah, so, for the Southeast, we're expecting dryness, especially just early in the season, but overall warm, and it could be getting wet later on. So, you may have a nice early start to the spring, then it gets kind of more gloomy as you get later on in the season. So for the middle of the country, smack dab, we have a variety of weather. It can be going from, dry for much of the region and warm to like cool and wet later on. So for a drought area, over here in the southwest, which is pretty large to say, is where we're seeing these drier and warmer than normal conditions. For the northwest, we're expecting a a damp early spring, and then it'll get really dry later on and warmer. Um, with cool and possibly wet periods early, there could be even room for a late season snowstorm in the northern plains and the northern Rockies, possibly in the upper Midwest as well. That could be as late as late April or even early May, but early on in the season we could still be seeing some snow in many of the places in northern tier. Especially over here, we could see another major snowstorm possibly, but things aren't certain with that, and there's still more of winter that's coming out, so that's definitely possible. Even as of late February. So we're also gonna look at our overall severe weather outlook, and so for severe weather compared to normal, especially for the eastern half, we're expecting more active severe weather season than normal. Due to the warmer and wetter than normal conditions expected for most of the region. But over here in the plains, we're expecting a lot less severe weather than usual due to the drier conditions. But it can be ruled out that as wetter conditions could come in later in the season, especially, or is any wet period, there could be more severe weather than usual for at least a period as well. So, just because less severe weather is forecast doesn't mean you won't see anything. Especially considering the fact there could be wet periods from time to time this season. So that was it for today's forecast. Hope you enjoyed it. Um, and just a final outlook. So this is the last update, of course. Stay safe.